The trees sway in the intense, never-ending wind. Kevin watches, knowing it'll get worse. Everything is worse since the big boom. "Doctor, we're out of Thorazine." Kevin sighs and turns from the mesh-caged window. "I know, nurse," he says to Olivia. "I checked this morning." Well, what? What are we going to do about it?" Kevin returns his attention to the window and the wind. "Not much we can do about it. I don't think there will be any deliveries from the pharmacy anymore." Kevin can feel Olivia staring at him in the way that Olivia does, all sad eyes and drooping mouth corners. "What?" Kevin asks, almost snapping but dialing it back at the last second. "This is going to be a problem." "I'm well aware of that, nurse." "So?" Kevin sighs. "I don't know what you want me to say, Olivia. We need a backup plan." Spreading his arms wide, Kevin laughs. "That's all we have. Just existing through all of this is a backup plan." "I'm afraid that's not good enough." "That's as good as I've got, and it's not as much of an issue as you think." "I doubt that. The worst patients were on the second floor. That's where most of the Thorazine went anyway, and we both know that the second floor is no longer a problem." "But there are other problems, Doctor." Grinding his teeth, Kevin keeps his anger from building. "Who's the doctor?" "Really? Let's not do this, Kevin." "Who is the doctor?" "You are, of course." "And who is the nurse?" "This is insulting. Stop it. Answer my question." "You are being a dick, Kevin." "It's an easy question, Olivia. Answer it." He turns to the woman with the clipboard in her hands and raises an eyebrow. "Can't answer." Olivia glares at him. "I'll do it for you. You're the nurse. Want me to go through how the chain of command works here at Gramercy?" "There's no need for that, Doctor." "Then why are you constantly questioning my decisions, Why are you deliberately trying my last nerve?" He moves quickly, his size, all 6'4" of him, an imposing sight as it stalks across the room. Kevin can't help but grin as Olivia shrinks away until she has no place to go. The wall is suddenly at her back and Kevin looms over her. "Do you think I need your opinion, Do you believe that your opinion, a nurse's opinion, is worth more than a doctor's opinion? Is that how you see things, nurse?" "Of course not, Doctor." Olivia swallows, clutching her clipboard against her chest as if the thin sheet of particle board could stop the barely contained violence that stands shaking in front of her. She waits. Kevin grunts low in his throat, then takes a deep breath, shakes his entire body, and tries to smile. "I'm sorry," he says, spitting the words at Olivia like he's getting rid of pieces of plaque or food stuck in his teeth. "I'm being a dick," Olivia suggests, trying for a smirk, but only achieving a grimace. Kevin chuckles and takes several steps back. A flash of lightning grabs his attention, and he turns to the window once again. When the peal of thunder makes the hospital's walls shudder, Kevin turns back to the intimidated nurse and manages a sincere smile. "Again, Olivia, I am sorry for my behavior. We are all under intense pressure and stress, and it wasn't right for me to take that out on you. We have worked together for more years than I can remember, and you have been nothing but loyal and competent. You did not deserve that." "Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate you saying that. Apology accepted." She pushes away from the wall and glances down at her clipboard. "Should we discuss the food situation?" "I'd rather not." Olivia smiles, her lips pressed firmly together until the blood is squeezed from them and they appear as two lifeless worms fighting each other. "Let's do rounds while we talk," Kevin says, and moves his eyes toward the office door. Then he surveys the rest of the room, the desk with the piles of paperwork strewn across it, none of it mattering anymore, the high-backed chair that he had battled hard for, the previous director refusing to give it up without a fight, the plaques, awards, and degrees hanging askew on the walls, the window that looks out onto the hospital's front lawn. "Doctor? Is someone out there? Doctor?"
No. Who would be out here in this weather? They'd have to be crazy. Doctor! Oh, yes, let's go.
Olivia waits for Kevin to open the office door and step out into the corridor before following right on his heels.
How bad is the food situation, really?
He asks as he turns and locks the door, using one of the 100 keys that hangs from the burdensome ring he keeps attached to his hip by a retractable cord.
So we are going to talk about that?
Kevin grunts.
Might as well. It's not ideal,
Olivia replies, once the doctor has secured the office and walks down the corridor, headed for the security doors at the far end. Kevin has to manually unlock the security doors with yet another key.
This is tiresome,
he complains under his breath, as he disengages the first in a series of 3 locks required for all doors that lead to the main corridors of the hospital.
Yes, well, the solar array can only handle so much power, Doctor. Switching to manual locks for all corridors and cells is best for the system so that the cells may stay secure. I know that,
Kevin snaps.
It's just so tiresome.
Then he manages the 3rd lock and the door swings open.
There we go.
He pulls the door open wide and steps through, waits for Olivia, then begins the process of locking the door.
You were saying about the food.
I was saying that the food stores on hand are not ideal. At current levels, with the amount of inmates...
Patients, nurse. They are patients here at Gramercy.
Are they, though? Kevin glances up and gives Olivia a sharp, disapproving look.
What? We should be realistic when it comes to where we are, Doctor. I do not believe a state board will reprimand us if we choose to be honest with ourselves. This is Gramercy State Hospital for the criminally insane. I know where we are, nurse.
Criminally insane, Olivia emphasizes. Criminally. These men and women have been sent here because of the horrible, horrible things they have done. While, yes, they are patients, at this point, we must think of them more as inmates in need of care, not as patients in need of healing and rehabilitation. Kevin licks his lips and rolls his eyes.
Are you finished with your sermon, nurse?
Not if you refuse to listen.
Have you already forgotten our little disagreement back in my office?
I have not forgotten, no, and I believe you apologized for that, did you not?
I did, but apologies can be rescinded.
Kevin turns abruptly away from Olivia and marches down the corridor. He passes the entrance to the lobby, then the useless elevator, and approaches the door to the stairwell.
Flashlight?
He asks.
I believe you have it.
Kevin pats his lab coat and smiles.
Yes, I do.
He pulls out the flashlight and opens the stairwell door.
To the pits of hell we go, nurse.
We are going up, not down.
I'm being poetic, Olivia.
As soon as they both step onto the landing, the door swings shut behind them. They are lost to the pitch blackness that consumes every square inch of the stairwell. Kevin flicks on the flashlight and aims it for the stairs. He avoids the walls. He knows what coats them. He's seen the blood splatter so many times that it is etched onto his brain. They ascend the stairs, and Kevin pauses at the door to the 2nd floor.
Doctor?
He stares at the handle, almost wanting to reach for it. He knows what's on the other side. He knows what happened, and how lucky he was to get out of there alive.
Doctor? Sorry,
Kevin says, and gets moving again.
Make a note to replace the duct tape. The smell is getting through.
Yes, Doctor. They climb one more flight to the 3rd floor landing. Another key is produced from the ring, and the door unlocks with an ominous click. The moment they are in the corridor, the shouts and screams start.
Let me out!
I don't understand. My hat is missing. Who took my hat? Mommy? Get up, Mommy.
That you, Doc? Fucking better be.
And the Lord smote them, for they were wicked.
Hey, Doc, that clipboard-carrying cunt with you? Bring her over here. She needs a real man.
Ignore his ass, Doc. He's just jealous that you have a friend. Mommy? Get up. Has anyone seen my kitten?
I'm fucking hungry here, Doc. When's chow time?
And those are the coherent voices. The rest are nothing but unintelligible screeches, moans, and grunts. Kevin passes door after door. ignoring the mad eyes and tortured faces pressed up against the industrial mesh-reinforced glass squares. When he reaches room 3J, he pauses, smiling at the man who stares at him with bright, yet bloodshot blue eyes.
You have a question, Mr. Morrison. When's chow time?
The man repeats. Kevin glances over his shoulder at Olivia. The man slaps his hand against the door.
You aren't talking to Nurse Clipboard Doc. You're talking to me. When's chow time? Mr. Morrison, I am sure you understand that we are in trying times, so just Morrison, no mister to it.
Morrison licks his lips.
But you know that. We've had this conversation so many fucking times. Have we now? Jesus.
Morrison grunts.
Have we now? Have we now? Have we now?
Kevin ignores the man and looks to Olivia.
Nurse, we can serve oatmeal with raisins for lunch,
Olivia says, consulting her clipboard.
Is that all we have?
No. As of inventory yesterday morning, we had tomato sauce, white rice, 3 bags of potatoes, 2 cases of carrots, and 8 crates of apples. There is also flour, salt, baking powder, sugar, and cornmeal.
We could have the cook make cornbread.
Morrison snorts.
Is cornbread not to your liking, Mr. Morrison? That's not what I'm laughing about, and you know it, Doc. Then enlighten us. Us? Which us is that? If you have something to say, Mr. Morrison, then say it. I have a very busy schedule today. After all, I am what stands between the chaos of the outside world and the order of Gramercy. You actually believe your own horseshit, don't you? Very busy, Mr. Morrison. Very busy.
Morrison looks Kevin up and down.
New smock? Coat. It's called a coat, not a smock. Last one get a little dirty, did it? We should go, Doctor,
Olivia says.
It'll take some time to prepare lunch.
Kevin waves her off. Morrison watches the gesture and chuckles. The echoes of the other patients' calls and cries reverberate up and down the corridor. Those coherent enough to know something is off shout to be fed. The rest babble and scream.
If we have butter left, I'll make sure to include a pat for you, Mr. Morrison,
Kevin says.
Cornbread goes best with a nice hunk of butter, don't you think? I try not to think, Doc. Without my meds, thinking ain't exactly my favourite pastime. Well, we shall see what we can do about that. Are you saying we miraculously got some clozapine back in stock?
Kevin glances behind him.
Don't fucking ask her!
The corridor erupts into chaos, and doors are banged upon by fists and feet and foreheads.
We should go, Doctor,
Olivia says, clutching her clipboard to her chest once again.
I asked you a question, Doc!
Morrison shouts, slamming his fist against his door over and over again.
Answer the fucking question! Yes, good idea, nurse,
Kevin says, and hurries toward the end of the corridor and the security gate waiting there. In seconds, they are through the gate, then in a different stairwell where Kevin once again ignores the stains on organic matter that coat the walls. They descend 1, 2, 3, 4 floors before arriving at the administrative basement. The smell that hits Kevin when he opens the stairwell door doubles him over with a gagging fit. Olivia rubs his back.
It's only a memory. It's not as bad as you think.
I know, nurse.
Breathe through your mouth.
I know how to fucking breathe.
I'm only trying to help.
What is that smell?
Don't be silly. You know what that smell is.
Yes, I know what that smell is, but that doesn't mean I can't ask a simple question.
Olivia does not respond. Kevin swats her hand away, then stands up and straightens his coat.
Cook?
He shouts, as he proceeds down the corridor to the set of double doors at the end.
Cook!
Doctor, the cook is not going to respond.
I know that,
Kevin shouts. He pushes through the double doors.
Cook!
He finds the cook at the long industrial stove. The woman's head is nearly devoid of all flesh and hair, as it sits simmering in a large soup pot. Off to the side, on a makeshift grill, lies the woman's thighs, charred and rotting in the humid air. Bloody chef's whites, shredded to rags, lay strewn across the floor.
Dear Lord,
Kevin says, and puts the back of his hand to his nose.
What a waste.
I hope you aren't saying what I think you're saying. I'm not saying anything.
Kevin snaps. Olivia doesn't respond.
But we will need to address the elephant in the room at some point, nurse.
Olivia still doesn't respond.
That elephant being there are more mouths to feed than food available. There is a way to reduce the mouths and increase the food supply at the same time.
Still no response from Olivia. Kevin turns his back on the stove and walks to a side counter up against the far wall.
Coffee. That's what we need. Coffee. Care for some, Olivia? I don't drink coffee, remember? Please don't waste a cup on me. Right. Of course. I know that.
Kevin plugs in a stainless steel kettle.
You should fill that first. Don't forget what happened last time.
Kevin's eyes find the scorch marks on the wall, and he purses his lips.
This is why I specialized in cardiovascular surgery and not food service,
he says with a laugh, and unplugs the kettle. He takes the stainless steel pot over to the sink and fills it halfway before returning it to its counter and plugging it in once again.
Now, where's the coffee? The last of the instant is on the top shelf,
Olivia says, consulting her clipboard.
Right.
Kevin searches and finds the last jar of instant coffee. He spoons 2 servings into a less than clean mug.
Now for sugar.
Nearly slipping in a congealed puddle of filth, Kevin makes his way across the kitchen to the pantry door and yanks it open. He's almost overtaken by another gagging fit, but gets it under control and walks inside, careful to step over the bloated body in the middle of the small space.
Sugar.
He drags a finger across the edges of one of the shelving units until he finds what he needs.
Sugar.
He grabs the almost empty bag and then frowns.
Olivia, do we have powdered creamer? Bottom shelf. Jesus,
Kevin cries out, spinning around as Olivia's voice comes from just behind his left shoulder.
Don't sneak up on me like that.
I don't sneak.
You know what I mean.
I'll attempt to be less jarring next time.
Please.
He checks the bottom shelf.
It's not there. What does your clipboard say?
That we should have some left.
Well, we don't. Sugar only will have to do.
Kevin returns to the counter and adds sugar to his mug. Then he stands there, staring at the kettle and waits for the water to boil. And waits. And waits.
Maddening,
he mutters, tapping his index finger against his chin. Then he stops tapping and he cocks his head.
Do you hear that?
I hear what you hear, Doctor.
No, listen. There's a banging noise.
Doctor, there are always banging noises. The inmates, the patients, are not exactly at peace. Kevin holds up a finger, his head still cocked.
That is knocking.
He runs out of the kitchen and hurries to the stairwell. He doesn't wait for Olivia and opens the door, races up 2 floors, then bursts out into the main corridor. The knocking is louder on the first floor and easier to identify over the cacophony that rings down from the upper floors.
I knew someone was out there,
he crows and pumps a fist in the air.
Maybe this is the answer we're looking for.
The knocking gets louder, more insistent.
Hold on,
Kevin shouts as he sorts through the keys on the ring.
I'm coming.
When he reaches the lobby, he finds himself suddenly off his feet and flying through the air, coming down hard on his shoulder. He grunts and looks behind him.
I told you we needed to clean that up,
Olivia says, standing off to the side of the lobby, holding the clipboard out like it will ward off the 2 bodies that lay dead a few feet from Kevin.
I know. We will later.
He scrambles back up to his feet and continues his journey to the front doors. A man's face is pressed to the glass as he pounds his fist against the door.
Hey, I can see you in there.
He shouts.
Let us in. There's a bad storm coming, and I have women and children with me.
We do not have enough food for them,
Olivia states.
I know that. Letting them in will be a big mistake. Maybe not. What does that mean? You know what it means. You cannot possibly be thinking, our responsibilities is to the patients of this hospital, nurse, and I will fulfill that responsibility no matter what.
The man at the door stops pounding and moves away from the door.
Give me a second,
Kevin shouts at him. then turns to address Olivia, but she's gone. Kevin grunts, finds the correct key, and slips it into the override panel by the side of the door. He twists and presses a button, and a loud clank echoes through the lobby. Kevin pulls the door open. The man hurries inside, holding the door open for the others with him. Kevin suddenly finds himself staring at two women, each holding a small child on a hip. They are all drenched to the bone, their clothes and backpacks soaked completely through. Kevin's eyes go to the puddles instantly forming on the industrial tile. The man pulls the door closed.
Who were you talking to?
He asks, looking at the empty lobby. Then he finds the bodies.
Oh shit, not them, I fucking hope. What? No, of course not,
Kevin replies.
I just haven't had time to take care of them properly. What does that mean? It means there are only 2 of us here and 30 patients in my care, so time is a luxury.
The women look at the man. He shrugs. One of them shakes her head.
But now that you fine folks have arrived, maybe you can lend a hand. Listen, thanks for letting us in, but we're just looking to get out of the storm. We'll be out of your hair as soon as it passes. And go where?
My husband has a place for us,
one of the women says.
a cabin. Missy, no.
The other woman warns.
I'm not telling him where it is.
Doesn't matter,
Kevin says.
You can tell me anything you want, and your secret is safe with me. I'm not leaving Gramercy. I have responsibilities. You're in charge here?
The man asks.
Like the director or something. I'm sorry, we haven't been properly introduced,
Kevin says, and holds out his hand.
Dr. Kevin McCloskey. And you are? Chuck.
The man says, then shakes Kevin's hand.
This is my wife, Marla, and our son, Ty. Hello,
Kevin says, and waves.
This is my sister-in-law, Missy, and my niece, Amy. And hello to you too.
Kevin chuckles.
Tutu, like a ballerina.
No one chuckles with him. Kevin claps his hands together, making everyone jump.
Well, even if you aren't staying, you need towels. You're dripping everywhere.
No one moves or responds. The small boy, Ty, sniffs loud.
Don't want the little ones to catch a cold. Not with how things are out there.
Kevin leans in, like someone may be listening.
How is it out there?
The man, Chuck, frowns.
You haven't been outside? Responsibilities. It's not good,
Chuck replies, sharing a look with the two women.
Maybe we should get out of your hair and leave you to those responsibilities. What? And go back out there?
Kevin asks, his voice a little high, maybe even shrill, as he points at the doors.
You said it yourself that the storm is getting worse, and none of us know what might be in that rain, do we? Poisons that could melt the flesh right off. Hey,
Marla snaps, covering Ty's ears.
Can you not? Oh dear, sorry.
Kevin says, and holds up his hands.
My apologies. I haven't been around children in a long while.
Chuck?
Marla says. She looks at Missy. The other woman nods.
We should go.
No, please,
Kevin says, and walks toward the security gate.
One of you can help me get the towels. They're downstairs in the laundry. It's right next to the kitchen. I was making oatmeal with raisins for lunch. You can have some if you'd like.
They stare at him.
And coffee. I was making coffee. Coffee?
Chuck asks.
Shit, I haven't had coffee in months. Not since before the...
He swallows hard. He shares a different look with the two women. One of the children's stomach gurgles.
Oatmeal would be good,
Missy says to Marla, giving her a pleading look.
We have a long walk ahead.
Marla sighs.
Fine.
She nods at her husband.
But we'll stay here. You sure?
Chuck asks, looking at the bloated bodies in the middle of the lobby. Marla nods.
Is there a working restroom?
Missy asks.
Of course. The water pressure is great. We have solar panels on the roof that keep minimum power going. And the hospital is on a well with a large tank that holds...
Just needed a yes or no,
Missy interrupts. Kevin stiffens. He points to a small corridor.
The restrooms are that way. I'll be back with towels.
He walks off.
Coming, Chuck? Right behind you.
Chuck says. Kevin leads him to the stairwell.
You should prepare yourself,
Kevin says as he opens the door.
We went through a tough transition period after what happened. You and everyone on this planet.
They step inside the stairwell and Kevin turns on the flashlight. Chuck gasps.
Best not to touch the walls.
Kevin pauses and shines the flashlight in Chuck's eyes.
Best not to touch anything, really. Is that smell from the walls?
Chuck asks, wincing.
Second floor,
Kevin replies.
When the event occurred, there was a system glitch and all doors on the second floor opened. That floor was for the worst of the worst. It did not go well, if you can guess what I mean.
Oh, got it,
Chuck says, and shields his eyes from the light.
Do you mind?
Kevin keeps the beam on Chuck's face for a moment longer, then flicks it away.
No, but you should.
Chuck frowns. Kevin aims the beam down at the stairs and everything they are covered with.
Your step. Mind your step.
Chuck gives a polite laugh.
Follow me,
Kevin says, and leads the way. When they reach the floor, Chuck covers his nose fully and takes short breaths through his mouth.
This is worse than the stairwell,
he says.
Way worse. We had to disconnect refrigeration due to the energy drain. Can't have any more cells open up accidentally, now can we? But you still have food that's good, right? Oh, of course. We hope to have more soon. Really? How?
Kevin smiles, then turns in the opposite direction of the kitchen.
How are you on medical supplies?
He asks, his light hitting a sign pointing towards the pharmacy.
I can get you a few things if you'd like. Sure, maybe later. How about that oatmeal and coffee first? You bet. Just give me a second to run down here and fetch your towels. Can't forget those, can we? No, I guess not. Usually I'd have my nurse fetch them, but she seems to have disappeared all of a sudden. I think she's afraid of strangers. Smart woman. Is she? Huh. I see it more as antisocial behavior, but who am I to diagnose something like that? You're the director of a mental hospital, so isn't it your job to diagnose behavior?
Kevin blinks a few times, his smile a frozen, rigid gash across his face.
Yes.
He shakes his head and gives a little hop.
Towels. Be right back.
Kevin rushes down the corridor.
Are you sure about this?
Olivia asks when Kevin steps into the pharmacy.
Damn it,
Kevin shouts and jumps.
You all right?
Chuck yells from down the corridor.
Yes, saw a rat.
When there's no response, he lowers his voice and glares at Olivia.
I could have used your help up there. The women don't trust me.
Olivia watches Kevin grab 5 syringes and fill them each with a healthy dose of benzodiazepine.
With no more Thorazine, shouldn't we save that for when we need it? We may need to sedate some of the inmates.
Kevin's head snaps to Olivia, a murderous glare warping his features. Olivia clutches her clipboard and takes a step back.
Patience. I meant patience.
I should hope so.
Finished filling the syringes, Kevin places them in his coat pocket. Then he uses a connecting door, walks through a lab, through another connecting door, and into a large storeroom that would normally be full of bed sheets and pillowcases. But due to the lack of personnel and short supply of electricity, Chuck has simply been burning the soiled linens out back as weather has permitted. He laughs at how Chuck and the women would be horrified to see what is piled out on the hospital's loading dock right now, waiting for its turn on the burn pile as soon as the rain lets up. Kevin grabs a stack of towels from a shelf, there being plenty of those due to the fact that he hasn't let any of the patients out to shower since the whole ordeal started. Before he leaves, he takes the syringes from his pocket and tucks them between 2 of the towels.
Follow me,
Kevin says to Olivia, his arms full of towels.
I'm not sure I want to watch this. It never bothered you before.
Reluctantly, Olivia follows Kevin out of the storeroom and down the corridor to where Chuck waits several feet back from the kitchen doors.
Man, I think there's more than just stuff spoiling in the walk-in,
he says when Kevin gets close.
Walk-in? The big refrigerator? Oh, is that what that's called?
Chuck shakes his head and starts to back away.
You know what? I think we should get going. But you haven't had your oatmeal or coffee. I know, but if we really hoof it, we may be able to get to the cabin by dark.
Kevin stands and stares. Chuck fidgets.
Well, at least take some towels with you. We have plenty.
Kevin holds out the stack. Chuck hesitates, but then moves forward, a hand outstretched.
Oh, how rude of me. I haven't introduced you to Olivia, my nurse,
Kevin says, just as Chuck grabs the top towel.
Who?
Chuck asks, then yelps, yanking his hand back.
What the fuck? Did you... Hey!
He falls to the floor and blinks up at Kevin for a moment, his mouth opening and closing like a goldfish gasping for air. Then his eyes roll up into his head.
He'll be out until tomorrow. Plenty of time.
Kevin turns and grins at Olivia.
Help me with the woman, will you? I won't be much help.
Olivia sighs, but follows Kevin as he makes his way to the stairwell and back up to the lobby. The women turn around to face him the second his footsteps echo through the building.
Where's Chuck?
Marla snaps.
Downpouring all of you some fresh coffee. The oatmeal is almost ready, but the coffee is piping hot.
Kevin holds out the towels.
Here you go, nice and soft. I wish I could have given them a tumble in the dryer so they'd be all toasty, but gotta conserve power.
Marla and Missy don't move.
Olivia, can you assist me?
Kevin asks as he takes a few steps closer.
Who are you talking to?
Marla asks and looks around. That's all the distraction Kevin needs.
This is wrong,
Olivia says, after the women and children are incapacitated.
Is it any more wrong than what we did before, Gramercy? Well, no, but you see how that turned out.
She looks around the lobby.
Now we're in charge of this hellhole.
Kevin shrugs.
Oh well, can you get her legs?
Olivia shakes her head.
Bodies are your thing, not mine. You know that.
Kevin grunts and grabs Marla's legs. Several hours later, Kevin wheels a cart down the third-floor corridor, sliding congealed bowls of oatmeal through each door slot.
Just you again, huh?
Morrison laughs when Kevin reaches his door.
Don't be absurd,
Kevin says, shoving a bowl through the slot. Morrison yanks it towards him and ignores the plastic spoon, instead just upending the bowl to his mouth.
Slow down. Don't want you to choke.
Morrison tosses the empty bowl out of the slot. Then he sticks his whole face up against the slot and takes a deep, deep sniff.
Jesus, Doc, what is that amazing smell? Oh, I have a roast in the oven. You can smell that all the way up here. Remarkable. Yeah, I can fucking smell it. We haven't had meat in months. Oh God, that smells good. Thank you. It should be ready for dinner. I might roast some potatoes with it. Where'd you get the meat, Doc? Just got lucky, I suppose.
Kevin rolls the cart away and hands out more bowls of oatmeal.
Hey, Doc, I worked kitchens for years. Maybe I could help down there.
Kevin pauses and thinks for a moment.
That's not a bad idea, Mr. Morrison. Great, let me out and I'll... Oh, not you, of course. You'd kill me in a heartbeat. No. We'll need some more of our docile patients for kitchen duty. But I thank you for the idea.
Morrison screams and curses at Kevin until the doctor has wheeled the cart back to the stairwell and goes down to the first floor. He leaves it outside the stairwell and walks to the office.
Food service experience,
he mutters as he starts to sort through the stacks and stacks of patient files on the desk.
Are you sure about this?
Olivia asks.
We need help before the meat spoils. There has to be some patients with kitchen skills.
He opens the files and tosses them aside when he doesn't see what he needs. Then he pauses with a specific file in his hands.
Ridiculous that they even made this one,
he says, and throws the file down onto the floor, where it stays open on top of the other rejected files.
I run this place. I am not a fan of practical jokes.
Olivia nods.
Rude, I say. Very. Now, let's see who we have here.
He opens a new file.
Well, she's promising. 6 years in fast food before she killed all of her co-workers one night. She may be dangerous, but you'll help me keep an eye on her, right, nurse?
Of course, Doctor.
Great.
Kevin continues to sort through and toss files onto the floor. In a minute, the file Kevin had thrown aside, the one left open, is obscured, and the words Dr. Kevin McClaskey, severe schizophrenia, homicidal tendencies, and dissociative personality disorder are lost from sight, buried under more rejected files.
Another,
Kevin crows and waves the file in the air.
We're making progress now, nurse.
Yes, we are, Doctor.
The woman who isn't in the room replies.
Oh, and don't forget to check on the roast. We wouldn't want that poor child to burn. What a waste.
Thank you, Olivia. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these stories, be sure to click subscribe and check out some more stories here.